This is Jason from SoCal Accessories. Today I'm going to be showing you guys step by step how to install a hitch on a 2016 to 2021 Honda Pilot and how to run this plug and play style harness. I bought this item online. I'll put the link below. First of all, to install this, it's a lot easier if you have two people. The instructions it comes with are very, very brief. It just says you have to drop down the tire to install it. However, that's not necessarily true. We didn't have to drop it down. If you have two people, you could kind of arch it from the inside out, from the inner piece, and I'll show you guys from the bottom better what I did to get it. All right, guys, so we had two people. With two people, I was able to get these 6 bolts on. We just hand tightened them. But before we put these with our hands, what we did was we had to arch this piece inward first. So we tilted this end down and we tilted this end in, and we got this in without having to take the spare tire out and put it back in. All we did was arch it inward, get this piece to dip in. Once you get this kind of pivoted in there, it fits in there without having to drop the tire. And what I did when we were doing this, I just grabbed my hand and I kind of pulled forward until it pivoted inward. Once it went in there, it was good to bolt up. Like I said, it was a lot easier with two people. If you don't have nobody to help you, I would probably suggest having the other end held up with like a jack stand or a jack, and maybe strap it so it doesn't fall off. But anyways, what we did, it was 2 of us under here. We pivoted that inward. Then we put these on by hand. After we put them on, the 6 of them with the washers by hand, then we tightened them up all the way. So now that this is secure, we're going to work on the wiring. So for the wiring, the first thing we had to do was remove this. So you remove this, you can remove it with like a flat screwdriver or a plastic pry bar. You got that little indentation right there. You put a flat screwdriver or a plastic pry bar in there and pull forward and it just snaps off. Besides that, if you lift upward on this, you have another little door right there. Same thing, this one pulled out from this big cutout right here. You put your finger in there and just pull down and that comes out. You have a Velcro right there that was holding the stock OEM jack. Once we pulled that, just take off that Velcro and the jack slides out. Once we took that out, you have a little rubber that's right here. So you just grab your finger and you push down on that rubber. We're going to need that spot to run that wiring harness down there. And then it comes with the rubber gorment on the wiring harness. Is going to cover that up and make it fit stiff in there, so you don't need to reuse that rubber. So you could just toss that. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the harness down from here. We're going to run it down here. I'm going to lift this up and we're going to put it through that hole. Once we get it through that hole, it says you're supposed to be having like a white plug right here. For us, we had to reach up pretty high. It's stuck up here. Let me see if I could show you guys. So it's right there. That's the most that it pulls down. So if you don't see yours, don't get discouraged. Just kind of reach up there. You should have it higher up like mine was. That's putting a lot of pressure. That's kind of the furthest it goes down. We just need to get that so that we could plug in this harness. So this one, this one's going to plug into there till it clips or till you hear it snap in place. This blue one you only use on the Honda Pilot if you have, yours has like the sensors on the back. Then I believe you're going to have a secondary plug in there that's going to plug to the one with the blue wire, which that one's a different plug. So as you can see, you can't really mix those up. Once you plug those in, we're going to run this, like I said, from the top down through that rubber. And this is going to be the rubber that pulls through and takes place of that rubber that we just popped out of place. Besides that, you need to add this to a ground. So I'm going to test it with a power probe first. to see what ground we have around this area. I believe that's the release for the gas tank cover. If there's nothing behind here, no wiring or something, I may just get a self-tap and add it here, or I might take this screw out or this screw out, take it out, and then re-add one of these screws with this ground there, if one of these does read as a correct ground. Alright you guys, so there's two fuse boxes in the front. We're going to remove this one. To remove this cover, you got 3 tabs. You pinch down on them, so 1, 2, 3. When you push those, this lifts up. Okay, so when you remove that, it comes with this 30 and 2 little 20s. When you remove this cover, it says trailer main for number 2, trailer e-brake for number 3, and number 11 trailer charge. So the 30 is going to go here. Make sure you push it in all the way. And then we're going to put 120 amp fuse there and 120 amp fuse there. If I can't push it in all the way with my fingers, I'm going to go grab some needle nose. Alright, so now we put the 30, that 20, and that 20 there. So now we're going to put that cap back on, make sure it snaps in place. So we're done under the hood. For this rear, I plugged in everything like I told you guys I was. On this one, it reads as a ground. For this other one, it doesn't. This one does, so I took off that Phillips and I added the ground right there. And I plugged in that one plug right there, that blue one that we're not using. I just put a piece of, I added a piece of electrical tape covering it. Shouldn't touch anything, but just in case. So now this area is done. So I could put this cap back on and I put the other cap back on. Now for this bottom piece, you have to pull it pretty tight. You'll feel when it's in all the way around because you could feel like a little slight gap in between the metal and the rubber. So I started it on one side and then pulled it and kind of did that all the way along there. On here I'm going to zip tie the access wire. I'll probably just get a piece of zip tie and zip tie it like this. I fed the wire through here, down through here, then through that little slot on there, and I put it through here. I still have to tighten up these, but this bracket, I guess this bracket's all personal preference if you want to put it on the bottom or top. But it has a little tooth right there, and then this piece has that little step, so you should pull this out until you feel that step come through on top and bottom. That would just keep this from going in. So when you go and you plug in your trailer, you plug it in, this doesn't push through. When you feed this cable through from the top to the bottom also, take this off. It's a lot easier because when you have this plugged in, this cover on, this piece doesn't want to flex as much. So that's to get it through here, and then also when you feed it through this piece and up there, when you put it through that hole. So I just got to tighten these up now. Basically, that's everything. It should be done now. That piece you don't need anymore. You're not going to reuse that. So now I'm just going to turn on the car. I'm going to check the ground, check the brake light and left and right turn signal, make sure everything works. I'll let you guys know right now if it does. Turn off the hazards. So right now I have that ground. Step on the brake. So the brake light and the turn signals are the same power. This is the power for the parking light. Turn off the parking light. Alright, so now the parking light's off. That doesn't have power. And then hit the hazards again. And then the hazards are on. So these two, one's for the left turn signal basically and the right turn signal. So everything is working correctly how it should. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys on the step-by-step how to install the trailer hitch and the wiring harness. If you guys like the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so that I could make and post more videos like this for you guys. Thanks for watching.